Welcome to the F word, F for fraud, where we uncover the scams, schemes, and tricks that cost businesses billions every year. I'm your host, Indiana Cool, and today we're talking about something businesses might overlook during the most wonderful time of the year: fraud during the holidays. Now, before you pour that eggnog or wrap those presents, we need to talk about fraudsters and how they see the festive season as the perfect opportunity. Joining me today, let's unpack this topic with Dave Oswald, forensic investigator, fraud fighter, and someone who knows exactly where fraudsters hide and strike. Dave, welcome to the F word.
Thanks, Indiana. Always great to be here, especially when we're busting some fraud myths and arming businesses with the tools they need to stay safe.
So, why are the holidays the prime time for fraud? I think we're just going to jump straight in, Dave. Holidays are all about giving, but fraudsters are taking. Why is the Christmas season such a hotbed for fraud?
Well, it's basically a perfect storm. Businesses are busier. They might be short-staffed. They might be working on skeleton crews because some people have gone on holiday. And that means that people both inside and outside the organization have a look and they can see the cracks, which might be covered over during the year, are now opening up and allowing them to slip through.
I mean, let's break it down for the listeners. What are the most common frauds you see businesses face over the Christmas holidays?
Well, there's so many that if we talked about all of them, we'd be here all day. But let's just go for a few of the more common ones. Employee fraud. And this is something none of us like to think about. Our own employees might be embezzling or stealing from us because they think that no one's watching. Times are tough at the moment, and it's easy for somebody to think, well, I'll just supplement my income a little bit by taking a bit from the company. Nobody will notice. There's also that false expense claim story where I take my wife out for dinner and I claim that I took a client out for dinner instead. Or I might claim a client dinner twice, knowing that the people who are checking the expense claims are flooded with expense claims during this time period. Then there's cyber fraud. Well,
Phishing, it's the worst.
Everybody has got phishing attacks at this time of year. Fraudsters send you lovely Christmas cards with our gift to you, and it's from somebody.
Here's your Christmas gift card, Dave. I've sent you one in the post. Did you get it?
Yeah, and the problem is when you open that Christmas gift card, the gift is that it's giving you is ransomware.
Surprise.
Surprise, or alternatively, it's putting a keylog onto your computer or something like that.
What is ransomware, Dave? Just quickly, I know we want to carry on, but what is ransomware?
Ransomware is a lovely little program which fraudsters love to place on computers. And what it does is it goes throughout the organization, infecting each of the computers, pretty much like a virus. And once it gets to a certain level of that it's got through an organization, the fraudster then triggers the virus to work. And what happens there is that they turn around and they manage to encrypt all of the hard drives, and then you have to pay in order to get your information back.
It doesn't sound like fun. So I think the next one I see here, procurement fraud. What is procurement fraud?
Well, again, it's working on the basis that we have a set of suppliers who pop up with urgent deliveries or offering great holiday discounts, and businesses pay in order to get nothing. So they're basically just people who are putting out invoices without any background or backing documentation whatsoever.
That's pretty scary. I mean, I think.
And then we go to retail and e-commerce fraud. Well, I mean, I feel sorry for people in the industry at the moment because there's so much in the way of chargeback fraud where people go and buy product and then claim that they never were in the store buying that product. Or they claim that they've returned stuff which they actually haven't returned. So thieves will do anything in order to get money out of a company.
I mean, I heard that was huge with Amazon, but it's really terrible for the mom and pop stores that are, selling their homemade wares and can't really take the same knock as Amazon.
Well, remember that all companies now are doing a lot more in the way of e-commerce, and so it's affecting them all. And then finally, the one that we're seeing a lot of is social engineering, where people will try and convince you or get to know you or pretend that they're somebody that you know in order to get you to do something. I mean, we've actually had this happen in our organization where one of my staff members got an email from me, in inverted commas, to say, please go and buy 20 Amazon gift cards for $100 each because Dave wants to give them to the staff. And she went off and she was very nice and she bought 120 gift cards of $100 each and sent them to Dave, but Dave wasn't me. And she ended up losing all that money, which was rather sad.
So even the guys that are fighting fraud are getting defrauded.
Yeah,
You see, guys, it can
it's
happen to anyone, right?
yeah.
The gift card scams are really scary because they feel so real. And I know lots of businesses that have lost thousands before they realized it was fake.
Well, we're a perfect example of that. And fraudsters are great at exploiting urgency and trust, the two things that run high during the holidays. Guys, I need these gift cards before Christmas because I want to give my staff a bonus before Christmas. So please, you've got to do this Indy for me. We need to get it by the end of business today. And all of the pressures in there.
I mean, before we get onto real life fraud case, Dave, this gift card thing actually seems to be quite a big thing because it's a way of transferring money without actually sending money to banks, or it doesn't create a what's the word? A paper trail, right? These fraudsters are getting really clever with them.
Yeah, and that's why whenever you walk into any store these days, you'll see a whole lot of signs up saying, "Why are you buying gift cards?
Hmm.
Are you being scammed?" And
Interesting.
you'll see that at any of the stores that you walk into, especially at this time of year.
I bet you anyone listening now is going to start seeing them and be like, oh, yes, Dave told me about that. And I mean, Dave, I know you've seen some crazy holiday fraud stories firsthand. Is there anything that really sticks out for you?
Well, I mean, the one which sticks out for me is a company that was we're getting up towards the Christmas holiday break, and the CFO, in inverted commas, wrote to the accounts payment person and said, we need to pay the supplier $100,000 before we close down for the Christmas break. And the Christmas break just happened to start the next day. So now all the pressure was there in order for this person to pay. At the time, the CFO was out of the country and was hard to get hold of. And so the poor person who was the accounts payment clerk said, oh, well, I've got to pay this because my boss is going to fire me if I don't. And so they transferred the $100,000 to the bank account that the CFO had kindly provided in his email. Now, of course, it wasn't the CFO who was talking to them, but a fraudster. And they then paid out the 100,000. And unfortunately, by the time the CFO came back, that money had long disappeared out of the bank accounts.
I mean, that's terrifying, but all too common. Now, do you think was that kind of thing an inside job? Because somebody must have known the CEO was, I mean, the CFO was away. I mean, how did they know
Well,
they shouldn't be contacted?
this is the thing. I mean, when you have a look at wire frauds, a lot of the time there is an inside connection. There's somebody who knows something and is talking to the fraudsters about it in order to get some money. In most of the wire frauds that we've investigated, there has been somebody on the inside. Very rarely has it been a completely exterior job where they've just hacked emails and are looking and waiting to see where people are going and then taking advantage of it. It's too random.
Mm.
You need to know a lot more information than that.
I mean, all right, Dave. So now let's help our listeners protect their businesses. What can they do to to avoid becoming victims of holiday fraud?
Yeah, none of us can afford to be victims of fraud,
We
unfortunately.
afford, avoid.
Well, I mean, the first thing is double check anything. Any request that's made, if there's a request to give gift cards, pick up a phone the person who's on a number that you know, not the number provided in the email, but on a number that you know, or their personal email address if you know that, so that you get confirmation that they are looking at actually getting these. Rather have your boss getting a little bit mad at you because you're double checking than him being really mad at you for spending hundreds and thousands of dollars on something that goes horribly wrong. So the next thing is, and it's something which is too late for now, but for next year, is to train your staff. Make sure that they know what a phishing email looks like. Make sure that they know what fake invoices look like and what suspicious emails are. Train them that anything urgent needs to be checked, because that's one of the
I know
that's
you're
one
about
of
to
the
go
big
to the next
things.
point, Dave. You say train staff, right? But sometimes your business doesn't even know what to look out for. And that's when the best thing to do is actually phone someone like yourself who knows what phishing scams are, fake invoices look like, and come and show the staff and be like, this is what you need to look out for, right?
There's nothing better than training in order to prevent fraud. I mean, there really isn't. And at the end of the day, it's not a huge investment in your staff in order to prevent possibly millions of dollars worth of damage.
Completely, completely. And what else is there, Dave? I know you've got some gems there.
Well, monitor expenses. Look really carefully at this time of year at what your staff are claiming. And although we all want to believe that our staff are beyond reproach, there are bad apples in every company, and there is somebody who will either accidentally or on purpose put through an invoice more than once or put through a false invoice. Then there's cybersecurity. We talked about ransomware earlier. Talk to your staff about clicking on, welcome, you've got this present. Unless you know where it's come from and you can verify it, you certainly don't want to be clicking on anything that just arbitrary like that. And then also limit access to who can authorize transactions or access sensitive systems while key staff are away. So we need to stop just random, a clerk who shouldn't be looking at the full client list from being able to download it.
I mean, that's a pretty solid list, David. I mean, I want to get into some of these matters, but I think this is probably for our next podcast. The key takeaways, if listeners only take away one thing from today's episode, what would it be?
I think that fraud never takes a holiday. That fraudsters look at the different times of the year and they look at the different opportunities that each of those times creates. And they will go after a company and try, or individual, and try and make as much money from them as possible. So it's basically stay vigilant, do what Ronald Reagan said, trust but verify everything, double check everything. And remember, the best gift you can give you and your business this year is not to be a victim of fraud.
Amazing. Wise words, Dave. Thanks so much for joining us today. And to our listeners, remember, fraudsters are working overtime this season, but now you're ready for them. Thanks for tuning into the F word, F for fraud. I'm your host, Indianna Cool. We'll be back soon with more ways to keep your business safe and sound. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Go and read the article on our website or on our LinkedIn page. Stay smart, stay sharp, and happy holidays.